this effort, we are proud to host the Department of Biotechnology, DBT, its webinar series under the DBT BioConnect program. Today's webinar is on empowering budding scientists, and today we will talk about the various fellowships and training opportunities that DBT offers, especially for students. Today we have a lot of you register for this webinar. You've signed up today from all over the country and also from a few other parts of the world, from the US, Germany, Ireland, Uganda, United Kingdom, and even Zimbabwe. And so welcome everybody, welcome to this webinar. We're very honored to host today a distinguished panel of speakers. We're joined today by Professor Rameshwarnath Kaul Bamezai, who's a professor of human genetics. Professor Bamezai was the former dean of School of Life Sciences and School of Computational and Integrative Sciences at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He was also the former vice chancellor of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University in Katra, Jammu and Kashmir. He has over 40 years of experience both teaching and guiding research. Professor Bamezai has been on advisory councils, academic and executive councils and task forces of several institutions and scientific bodies. He has been associated with several mentoring programs for students and young faculty and has contributed immensely to the growth of higher education in this country. He has received numerous awards, notable of which is the Padma Shri by the President of India in the area of science and engineering in the year 2012. We're also joined by senior leaders from the DBT today, Dr. Manoj Singh Rohilla, who's a scientist E with the Department of Biotechnology. We also have Dr. Shailja Gupta with us, scientist G at the Department of Biotechnology. Welcome to all the speakers, welcome to all the attendees, and without further ado, I would hand the forum to Professor Bamezai.
Well, very good morning, dear friends and the participants of webinar. I may give you a brief introduction before we go into the specific stage of today's topic. The Department of Biotechnology, over more than 3 decades, has made incremental progress in generating and empowering human resource in the areas of life sciences and biotechnology in the country. And today's webinar is just to spread the awareness in the public domain about this empowering and the mechanism adopted by DBT over these 3 decades. What is this empowering for? The empowering is for the purpose of creating opportunities. And in that direction, whatever steps have been taken by Department of Biotechnology, they will be detailed over here by Dr. Rohilla, and the interventions after question and answer session by Dr. Shailja. To introduce, we all know that we have our own strengths and weaknesses. And our strengths we need to identify, and weaknesses we need to overcome. And all this is done and supported by Department of Biotechnology to excel. And we need to excel in science, especially for the budding scientists for future years. I have an example in my mind, and that's also shown on the slide, that if we have to perform in any sport and become a best performer, what all is required? We require training, we require aptitude, attitude, perseverance, patience, learning from the failures, and never give up attitude. Of course, the continuous practice and the focus is also required simultaneously. What is also important is support system for those who are deserving and also for those who are needy, who probably need some kind of hand-holding. And they have a basic aptitude and inherent aptitude for becoming better. That's what in sciences, Department of Biotechnology has been doing in past more than 3 decades. They have taken many initiatives in that direction. And what are the essential ingredients which are required for empowering education, inspiration and motivation, and providing equal opportunities? Department of Biotechnology has been involved at all levels to create this kind of ecosystem and removing hostile conditions. They have also tried to project a lot of success stories and perform personal experiences of different people and their perseverance to move ahead to achieve excellence. Now, what all is required at your level, at young scientist level, is fire in the belly and desire to do something with ethical practices so that you innovate and you discover. The purpose is not to replicate what already has been done, but the purpose is to do something new. And then DBT tries to find opportunities and also help you create opportunities for yourself. So in today's world, Department of Biotechnology has become a funding institution, hand-holding institution, where it has already created its niche in the areas of life science and biotechnology by entering into memorandum of understanding with other organizations like CSR, ICIM, or BST. And this webinar is in that direction, that what Department of Biotechnology has contributed to empower budding young scientists. Of course, there have to be mechanisms in place to identify talent at the right time and nurture them through. And this effort has been made by Department of Biotechnology by offering training in different areas at different levels, by providing support systems to fellowships to students. And this needs now scaling up at national level, where probably the desired skills and the job opportunities match each other. And people become job creators in due course of time, entrepreneurs in the country, so that they are not only looking for the jobs in the formal sector, like government organizations, but also non-formal sectors, and they become the job creators. Having said so, I'll pass it on now to Dr. Rohilla to give details in the direction of what DBT is doing for training programs and the fellowships and empowering the budding scientists for future years to come.
Thank you, Professor Bamezai, for the inspirational address and for setting the tone for today's webinar. Before we proceed and bring Dr. Rohilla in, we would like to know a little about our audiences. So we will launch an audience poll to this effect. So you'll all see a poll launched on your screen. So please take a moment to using that poll. Let us know where you're from, where do you work, and also what you do. So I'll end the poll right now and I'll share the results. So a good 98% of you are from India. 1% is from outside of India. And a lot of you are from the west of India, some of you from the south. And we also have a few people from the northeast zone, so welcome. And a lot of you are students. Some of you are researchers, some are undergrads. We have lots and lots of 60% of you are master students. Some of you, 15% of you are PhD students, some postdoctoral fellows as well. Thank you for sharing that information with us, and we'll continue with the webinar.
Thank you, Professor Bamezai. And it is a good opportunity to interact with the students, DBT fellows in the country and outside the country, and they are watching this video and interacting with us. And biotechnology is a multidisciplinary and rapidly advancing area, and well-trained manpower is a prerequisite to meaningful R&D and production. Realizing the importance of human resource development and skilled manpower, DBT initiated an integrated human resource development program way back in 1985-86, comprising of teaching, training, and fellowship programs, especially the postgraduate teaching program in the country. In 1985-86, we have started this program in close collaboration with UGC and the Department of Oceanography. And also, we are supporting the short-term training courses for upgradation of the skills of mid-career scientists and undergraduate and postgraduate teachers. So, first, I will describe the important and flagship program of DBT, the teaching program, postgraduate teaching program we are supporting since 1985-86. I already said. The main objective of this program to ensure high standard of teaching and to generate critical mass of trained manpower in the country. And we have implemented this program right now in 74 universities, and 72 universities are imparting the postgraduate degree program, and 2 universities are imparting the courses, diploma courses in country, one in bioinformatics, another in the molecular biotechnology techniques for the graduate students. And the admission process, we are selecting the student at national level, and 54 universities are participating in the JNU SEEMS. The common entrance examination for biotechnology we are conducting since 1985-86. And another way we are admitting the student through JAM, IIT JAM, and 6 institutions join the hands for the selection of the student through this process. And 12 out of 74 universities, 12 universities are selecting the student through their own entrance examination because they are conducting their ways to select the students through this national level entrance examination. And through IITs, we are offering the MSc Biotechnology teaching program in IIT Roorkee and IIT Bombay, and MTech program in 4 IITs, as well as we are offering MSc Biotechnology teaching program in 32 universities in general biotechnology as well as specialized courses. And we are also providing the opportunity to students to join the agriculture biotechnology teaching program. Those are completed the BSc Agriculture Biotechnology, and few university also admitting the students through 3-year degree program in central university like just Rajendra Agriculture University, Pusa, Bihar. They are offering the degree program for the basic science student also. And we have a specialized program for the veterinary scientists in the country, and we are providing the opportunities for education, higher education in animal biotechnology. And there are 3 universities offering these courses. Assam Agriculture University, Guwahati, in Guwahati, and GBPAD University, and Sher Kashmir University also providing the such education program to the students. And we are also offering the MTech Biotechnology teaching program in 7 institutions like and this slide shows the area-wise number of university conducting DBT-supported PG teaching programs. They have also provided the link, state-wise list of DBT-supported PG teaching programs. Can you show the list and the distribution of the program? Yes, state-wise list of DBT-supported PG teaching programs displayed for in country. I think the link is missing. Okay, fine. And most of the program, you can see the general biotechnology teaching program, and students prefer to join the general biotechnology teaching program coming from the basic science education, BSc biology with chemistry, physics, and other subjects also. We are also offering the interdisciplinary programs for the mathematics student, physics, chemistry, and we are offering 1100 seats in different programs, like in MSc General Biotechnology, we are offering 577 seats. 134 seats in specialized courses, and agriculture 148, and so on, 221 in MTech programs, specialized applied programs, and 28 seats in MBSc programs. These slides show the state-wise DBT supported PG courses in biotechnology we are supporting, and you can see the mostly the concentrated in Delhi because many institutions applied for this program and they got supported by DBT. And we are also providing the hand-holding support through recurring and non-recurring support to the institution, as well as students' support to the students, like we are offering the 3 different type of fellowship program, 5,000 for MSc courses, 7,500 for MSc Agriculture Biotechnology at par with the ICR norms, and the 12,000 rupees per month to Biotech students at par with the AICT norms. And this year we have introduced the online application process system and computer exam in JNU-SEEP to select the student, to expedite the processes and timely start the academic session in July, August, so that we can finish the education era teaching program, degree program on time. It is very important to describe the details about the model course curriculum, Department of Biotechnology, periodically revising the course curriculum for different programs. Now we have recently revised this model course curriculum for imparting quality education in biotechnology, and we have designed 13 streams. These course curriculum for 13 streams, and these courses are available on DBT website for public access. And we have also distributed among the DBT supported teaching program for implementation. And we have conducted the survey, and it has been observed that more than 75% syllabus they have adapted for the imparting the quality education, and they have also built the industry linkage for summer and winter training, as we have proposed for in this course curriculum. We are also offering the fellowship programs. This program has been started in 2004, and we are providing the support for conducting the doctoral research in university and R&D institutions. And we are offering 500 fellowship per year in this program. And the students are selected through the biotechnology eligibility test. Annually, we are conducting. And this year, we have extended the eligibility for life sciences students. And we are trying to expand the support to allied area also. In this case, in DBT-JRF program, we are selecting the student under 2 categories. The category 1 is the students; those are in a top merit list in 500 students. We are providing direct fellowship from the headquarters at national level, and these students are, if join the doctoral program in university or institutes, or once they have registered from the program, they will automatically activate the fellowship, and they can get the support from DBT initially for 2 years as a JRF and next 3 years as an SRF to complete the doctoral research in country. And category 2, we are also selecting the student under category 2, and we have no limit to select under this category, but we have a cut-off mark system to maintain the quality of the program. The students selected under category 2 are eligible to join any DBT sponsored project, PI driven project, followed by post institution process, and they can get the fellowship at par with the category 1 students under this program. This slide shows the distribution of the support we have supported in last 4 years, 2016, 2019, and we selected the student and number of applications we received. You can see the number of applications very high during the 2019 because of the many students from life science streams also applied for this program, and they have selected also. And we are offering this year 269 fellowship and under category 1 and 209 fellowship under category 2. And this slide shows the number of enrollment in various institutions across the country, and we observe that most of the students prefer to join the R&D institutions in the country, like ICR institutions or central institutes, DBT autonomous institutes, and central universities. And these are the number of students completed the doctoral degree under the DBT-JRF program in different years. In last 4 years, we observed that in 2015-16, 63 students completed the degree program. In comparison to other year, we can see the highest number recorded in the year 2017-18. 98 students completed the tenure and submitted their thesis also. And this is the outcome of our DBT-JRF program. And we have reported highest number of publications during 1890, 460 publications and 5 patents filed by the DBT-JRF through their institutions. We are also providing the opportunity after doctoral degree program through DBT Research Associateship program, a postdoctoral training opportunity to our students in biotechnology and life sciences. And our objective to support the postdoctoral research in frontier area biotechnology and life sciences at premier institutions across the country. And this program is being implemented by Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. They are advertising the program twice in a year and selecting the students. We have provision of 100 fellowship per year, and including 25 fellowship for NER candidates who are domiciled of NER or studied in NER 3 years, and they can apply for this program. And the link we have provided for the detailed guidelines and the application process. Student can log in on the website of the IISc Bangalore and you get these details of this whole program for application and processing to involve in this program and contribute for the research and development in the country. We have supported the number of students in different years. We have selected 82 students during 2015. And you can see the fever number 2019 because we have completed one slot of the advertisement selection process in 2019 January session. Now we are in process for advertising this scheme again in September so that we can complete the number of students or support expect. And we are also looking for the gender-wise representation DBT-RA, and we are every year we are comparing to manage the numbers and to provide the support to balance between the men and women trend in the biotechnology through this program. And these are the state-wise distribution of the students we have supported so far in last 5 years. We have a special provision for Northeast students, as I already described. In DBT-RA program, we are providing 25 fellowship per year. And we have also provision for the training for under DBT Biotechnology Industrial Training Program. And we have provision to select the 100 candidates per year in industrial training or 6-month training in-house hands-on training program. It is a very important program for the students. Those are interested in joining the industry as a career for the jobs or the R&D programs. This program is Biotech Industry Program. We started this program way back in 1993 with the objective to provide the training to MSc, BTech, and MTech students in industry environment. And we have covered the area so far: research and development, quality control, quality analysis, manufacturing, production, IPR, marketing, clinical trial, and we are engaging regularly with the student. And we are also providing support to the student through a 10,000 per month stipend for 6 months. And now we are in process to integrate this program with the skill Vigyan, and hope this program will definitely get benefit to a large number of students and community of biotechnology and life sciences students. The mode of operation, we are regularly, every year we are advertising this program in national dailies, and we are shortlisting the candidate through national entrance examination online conducted by our service provider, Biotech Consortium India Limited, New Delhi. And after shortlisting through a screening or written test, followed by interview by panel of experts, including the academic experts and industrial experts. And finally, we selected the students for the placing the student in industries. And after that, we are matchmaking also the profile of the student and interest of the student and the requisition of the industries or nature of the industries before placing the student in company for training. And regularly, we are also getting the feedback, monthly feedback from both sides, trainers as well as the trainees, so that we can provide a good training to the students and the opportunity to the trainers for selection of a good candidate for the employment. And so far we have trained around 3,000 students in last 5 years, and highest number reported during 2017-18, 778 candidates we have trained in the industry, and the absorption rate is around 30 to 40% every year. We are selecting the students for employment, regular employment in the industries. This is the gender-wise distribution. More number of candidates in during 2017, 186 candidate, and the highest number in 2014-15, 199 candidates, women candidates we have trained in this program. The state-wise distribution of the most of the active states from the students are coming and joining our program for the training. We have another opportunity for MSc, MTech, BTech, biotechnology student finishing school program. Jointly with the Karnataka government, we are conducting this program, biotech finishing school program. We started this program in 2011, and right now we are in phase 2 support to the Karnataka finishing school program. The Karnataka government has selected few institutions in their states for imparting the finishing school training to biotechnology students, and Department of Biotechnology is supporting 180 fellowship per year at national level, 10,000 per month to the students, and the student can log in the website of BITP. This program is renamed in phase 2 BITP because they have linked this program with the Life Science Sector Skill Council, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship for the enhancement of capacity and the quality of the program. They have signed the MOU also with the Life Science Sector Skill Council for designing of national occupational standard for a particular training like in plant tissue culture, animal tissue culture, or bioinformatics. And the Life Science Sector Skill Council will also provide this certificate under the skill development program. This is those students which are completed the training under this program. This recent admission notice, the last date was 31st July 2019. DBT has started this program, Skill Vigyan program, for providing high quality hands-on training in tools and techniques in multidisciplinary areas to entry-level student, 10+2 and graduate, in partnership with the State Council of Science and Technology. And we implemented this program in this financial year 2019-20 in 6 states. And there are 4 components in this program: skill training for student, technician training, faculty training for upgrading their knowledge, and we are also providing support for handholding support for entrepreneurship training for budding entrepreneurs in the country through this program. Right now, we have selected the 6 states for implementation of this program in first phase: Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal, Meghalaya, Odisha, Punjab, and Uttarakhand. And few more states are in process with us for establishing the centers in their states. And effort will be made for development of skill Vigyan center in all the state duties in upcoming years. And we have developed a solid linkage with the sector skill councils. And 2 skill councils immediately in our contact. One is the Life Science Sector Skill Councils, and the other is the Healthcare Sector Skill Council for designing the job roles, assessment of the skill manpower, and national occupational standard for those programs which are offering under this skill Vigyan program to the students, so that they can get a correct training and the direction for the jobs in the country. And we are also offering the advanced skill development programs through certificate, 6-month certificate and diploma courses. And during 2018-19, we have selected the 15 institutions in 3 areas: medical biotechnology, agriculture, and computational biology. And in computational biology, we targeted the big data biology program in the upcoming area, emerging area, and we selected the 6 institutions: IVAB, JNU, DG College, Amit University, University of Mysore, and Quest College for imparting the quality skill training to our students in big data biology. And in agriculture biotechnology, we selected the 2 areas. One is the plant tissue culture and other is the aquatic fishery food products. And we selected the few premier institutions like CSIR, ISBT, Vellore Institute, Assam Agriculture University. And in medical biotechnology, we targeted the genetic counseling program, training skill development, under skill development. And we selected 3 institutions for the initial phase for implementation of this program is JIPMER, Osmania University, and PJMER Chandigarh. We have other opportunities also under fellowship program, like Ramalinga Swami Unity Fellowship. This very specialized kind of training fellowship program, and we are offering to the students. Those are interested to return to their home country, means India, and they want to further conduct the R&D programs in India, in institutions. And we have another opportunity under DBT Welcome Trust Fellowship, specialized fellowship program under Biomedical Research Career Program. Not only we are supporting the fellowship, we are providing the recruiting and knowledge support to those fellows, for those fellows which are very interested in conducting the research and development in the country and desire to contribute in human research development. And similar line on Ramalinga Swami, we are also offering the DBT Energy Bioscience Overseas Fellowship Program for those are interested in the energy bioscience areas. And we have 3 other opportunities: Indo-US Genome Engineering Editing Technology Initiatives, and we have provided the link for downloading the details, processes, application, how to get involved in this program, and in collaboration with the other Newton Dhaba Fellowship Placement Program, we are providing to the students for a short-term visit program under the doctoral program to our students, and Purana program for scholars.
Thank you, Dr. Rohilla, for elaborating on the different programs for students. Audience will take another audience poll to understand if you have participated in these, any of these programs in the past, or if you will be participating in the future. So you'll see a poll launch any moment on your screen now. So please take a moment to let us know. Audience who are watching us on YouTube live stream, you can again use the same Google form to let us know if you haven't done it the first time. And we'll give it about a minute for the responses to come. All right, so let's look at the results of the poll. So a lot of you have participated. A lot of you, 82% of you are intend to apply for all of these fellowships that we are talking about in the future. I think we've got a good audience here because a lot of you haven't attempted these in the past. Some of you have attempted the postgraduate, participated in the postgraduate teaching programs and the JRF programs, the research associateship programs, and the Biotech industrial training program. And some of you have also participated in the Skill Vigyan program. Some of you are just exploring, but 82% of you will apply in the future. And I hope that information shared in this webinar will propel you in that direction. And again, for the other fellowships that were discussed by Dr. Rohilla, a good bit of, some of you, 7% of you have applied for the Purana program for scholars. Some of you have applied for the Ramalinga Swami or the Welcome Trust DBT India Alliance fellowships and other fellowships, but 88% of you will apply for these in the future. And we had a question on if you would like to participate in the upcoming webinars to know about more fellowships by DBT. Most of you, 98% of you will join us. We're delighted to hear that. And we'll be sharing information with you. And you find the DBT website useful in getting this information from, and you also derive this information from DBT's social media channels. Thank you all for sharing this information with us. This is very useful. So with that, I think we have quite a good time for us to interact with the speakers. Ganendra Singh asks, are there any opportunities for MTech students for attending conferences? What are the TA grants provided by DBT?
Department of Biotechnology is providing the travel grant for presenting the paper, presentation, poster abroad under the CTEC program. And we have an online processing system for application and sensing the grant. Students can visit the CTEC portal, CTEP, Conference, Travel, Exhibition and Popular Lecture Program of Department of Biotechnology.
Okay, so Katta Abhishek Gaud has a question. You can ask your question. You're unmuted. An anonymous asks, how many international conferences can PhD students attend? What is the travel grant for that?
Students can similar CTEC apply to a portal CTEC for presentation of poster or oral presentation in a conference abroad.
Okay. Gauri asks, BITP program, is it only meant for biotech students? I think this has already been answered. Can a PhD graduate apply for biomedical tech or for a medical biotechnology course? Could you list the benefits of taking this course in terms of placement?
The benefits of medical biotech. Actually, that's a very difficult question to answer, and that's why I've been asked to answer it, I guess. The medical biotech course, what are the advantage of taking a medical biotech course? I would say the advantage, given the present scenario in India, is huge, because the startup companies in the area of medical devices and diagnostics is springing up and is taking off, rather, is the right word to put it. And the opportunities for medical biotechnology would be huge in the future. We have a very vibrant biopharmaceutical industry. We have a very robust vaccine industry and a very bright future for biotech and diagnostic devices. So medical biotechnology is a good course to take, in my opinion. So you might want to add.
Yeah. Just adding further, in the advent of post-genomic era and the era of omics, there are a lot of opportunities now how the knowledge base is increasing and has an application value in health sciences, which ranges from stem cells to anything else.
Okay, so we have a question from Sutanuka Chakrabarti. Can you elaborate on the DBT BioCare program? What are the criteria? Is break in career mandatory?
A break in career is not mandatory, but however, we see that because women have a break in career, we encourage them to come back to research, and this is an opportunity for women with a break in career to come back to research.
Okay. Nandini Giri asks, what is the basis of selection in DBT Wellcome Trust Fellowship?
The selection criteria is global competitiveness. We have an international selection panel which has experts from India and around the world going through the review of the projects. And it is purely and strictly merit-based, and the research has to be above bar to get selected.
And adding to Dr. Shelja, what I know about the design of application and the proposer, somehow Indian PIs mostly lack that. They are not able to express in a quality manner so that internationally it stands the test of their benchmark. So they need to organize themselves and present their thoughts in a manner that the innovation they are talking about to do as a research problem or the discovery they would unravel, they need to highlight it accordingly. So it gets hidden somewhere in the verbose material written in the application. So they need to orient themselves, how to present themselves. That's one of the very key components which matters, besides, of course, what Dr. Shelja has mentioned.
The definition of the research question has to be brought out with clarity. And that, what Professor Bamezai said, is missing in most of routine projects. And India Alliance encourages young researchers to think their science through and define their research questions properly.
Okay, some of you have raised your hands. We'll give about 5 seconds so you can unmute yourself and ask. I'm going to Ghanendra Singh, if you wish to ask your question. We'll take a question from Shreyas. Sorry, we'll take a question from Ripal. What are the future scope for microbiology students? A very general one. If anybody would like to answer that.
Microbiology, again, is an area which has huge prospects in the future. We have diagnostic labs, which require microbiologists. We have emerging contaminations in our water, soil, and environment, which again requires a huge microbiologist with deep knowledge addressing these challenges which we are facing right now and we will face in the future. These scopes go beyond research and go to very deep social problems, environmental problems we are facing.
Adding to Dr. Shelja's comment, the range depends on what the person is interested in. At low-end level, a microbiologist, knowing the spectrum very well, can work at low-end and mid-level jobs if they belong to agricultural sciences, medical sciences, or pure microbiologists, basic microbiologists. At high-end level, today's microbiology in research area has a lot of knowledge base which has been generated. And the whole microbiome which is being talked about today in health sciences has so much relevance, and it's yet to be understood properly. And it's yet to be understood with respect to what kind of genetic susceptibility or genetic constitution you may have as a human being, and what kind of microbiome is repopulating or populating you under different disease conditions is an area which needs to be unraveled in the future. And environment, of course.
Environment, microbiome.
That's true.
Okay, the next question is from Anirban Ghosh. DBT-JRF, BET Category 2 students will they be considered as PhD students, and how long the support would be continued? What is the role of the host institute in this case?
If the candidate selected through host institution process for this activation of category 2, they can join with the R&D programs. And generally, we are offering the R&D programs, PI-driven project 3 to 5 years more. But they can get support continuously from the project grant.
Okay. Okay. An anonymous attendee asks, I'm a master's student in bioinformatics. I would like to know why DBT has discontinued or merged DBT Bioinformatics National Certification Exam, which is more focused on bioinformatics. If the BINC exam will be available, it will be a good opportunity for us, and it's a specialized exam for bioinformatics students.
So this is DBT keeps inventing and reorganizing ourselves, and that is why these webinars have been made, so that we get a feedback from our end consumer, which is the students, young researchers, and the researchers. And your feedback is valuable for us, and we would be happy to consider all suggestions in any which program which we are running. So the purpose of this webinar is to get feedback, and we'll be happy to receive feedback from you.
We have not discontinued this program, and we are providing still opportunity to students through through a DBT-JRF program. And we are considering the application of bioinformatics students under the JRF.
This question is
In fact, I would say we are reconsidering that how bioinformatics has to be strengthened, since now the critical mass in the country in the area of mathematical biology and computational biology is increasing day by day. So it's getting integrated with other subjects to give it a different shape as is required in current times.
Okay. Shashikant asks, may I know more about the postdoctoral fellowship schemes offered by DBT, and if yes, what is the duration?
Initially, we are providing support to selection for 2 years, and based on the progress and the review by expert, we are expanding the support on annual basis to the fellows for conducting the research.
So this is the postdoctoral scheme of the Human Resource Development Division of the department. We also have postdoctoral schemes, so to speak, under the Ramani Maswami and the DBT Welcome Trust India Alliance program. So the links and the details of which were shared by Dr. Manoj Rohilla during this presentation. If you have any detailed questions on this, we'd be happy to consider that separately. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Shailja. Minal asks, are there any long-term plans to accommodate postdocs as faculty in Indian institutes?
That is something which is always under consideration with the government of India as to how we can have a career progression for postdocs in India. And it is something I think is being discussed within the government systems, within DBT and DST. And your suggestions as to how we can go about it would be very, very valuable.
Yeah, it has already been discussed in the steering committee of HRD and earlier the task force of HRD that we need to encourage, although there is one of the programs from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, which is postdoctoral program, which is running, but involving all the 15+1 institute of DBT and other institutions, universities in India offering formal postdoctoral program, it's under discussion.
Okay, so again, we will give at least give a few seconds for some of the attendees who have raised their hands to ask the questions. Mohammed Ramiz Raza, you could ask your questions if you wish. Else Anonymous asks, what programs or schemes are available for undergraduate medical students?
The undergraduate medical students, we do not have very many. The only one which I can think of is the Karana program, where BSc and MBBS students can apply for 3 weeks, 12 weeks training in the USA. This is the Karana program, again, which Dr. Rohilla did mention during his presentation, and the details of which are available on DBT website and the Indo-US SNT forum website.
As an additional information, MBBS students can get into a PhD program. Institutions in India, some of the institutions in India allow that to be permitted. So once you're in the PhD program, then the support system would emerge in terms of fellowships for that PhD program.
Shilpi Sarkar asks, what are the options for applying for DBT-RA for female candidates? Are there any age limit for applying?
The same for women and men.
No, 45 years. It is relaxed criteria for women candidates, and student will get the information or postgraduate get the information, log in the ICMU website. Okay, I think 45 is the last criteria. The 45 up to 45 years we are supporting the candidates.
Okay, I think we will take one last questions from YouTube. Can medical students work on biotechnology research projects as undergraduates? This is from our YouTube viewers.
Well, if the teacher or the PI, the principal investigator wants, anybody can be part of the team. And we are now in the process of evolving a program. The HRD division is in the process of evolving a program which will allow students, PhD and postdocs, and we hope even the master's students and MBBS students to submit projects based on their ideas. I hope you will hear about it very soon.
As Dr. Shelja mentioned, there are certain institutions who entertain as trainees medical students during their courses. So I have had several medical undergraduates as trainees, and they were supported even financially. And similarly, in Center for Molecular Medicine in JNU, you have medical students coming over there as trainees and as researchers, and they get supported through the projects.
Thank you, everybody. There are a lot more questions. We will be sure to pass this on to you, but because of the time, we've arrived at the end of the webinar. And thank you, speakers, Professor Bamezai, Dr. Shelja Gupta, and Dr. Rohilla for patiently answering all of these questions. We will take this opportunity to make a quick announcement of the upcoming webinar series with the Department of Biotechnology. And that will be on nurturing future science leaders, and that would be covering opportunities for young investigators. So do take a moment to save your spot for that webinar. The link to registering for that webinar is shared on your chat window. We'll also email that to you. I would also take this opportunity to share that right after the end of this webinar, a survey form will pop up on your screen. So if you have additional questions, comments, or feedback, please do let us know using that form. Thank you for being a wonderful audience and sharing all your questions and responses through the poll. We hope that you found it useful. Until next time, goodbye from us at the Department of Biotechnology and India Bioscience.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.